Okay, good morning. Good to see everyone. Thanks for sudden change and making the adjustment. Starting off, I think it's very, very important that, first of all, I say thank you to our great fan base and our loyal fans and all the support that they continue to give our football program and our football team. When you look at 5 games this season of over 100,000 plus in attendance, that has not been done here since 2007, and we still have 2 home games left. And we're going to continue to need them to make Neyland Stadium a great home field advantage. But they have been remarkable, and I think it shows the commitment and support and hunger that they have, and it just drives you to give them everything that they covet, and we covet together as a football program and a football family. This week, it's going back to improvement, the fundamentals, the fine details, getting back to our Neyland focus. I didn't think we had 60 minutes of collective focus, and I'm talking about collective focus as an entire football team, all 11 on the field at one time. You know, we talk about 1 out of 11, 1/11th, and that's direct correlation to doing your job. Getting back to our discipline, we had some penalties that aren't us. We had too many lying eyes, too many eye violations. I thought we lacked discipline in our eyes. We stared at the quarterback way too much, so we must do a much better job with that. Just our overall habits, our style of play, our execution. This is a big, big week for us in moving forward. North Texas comes in. Mike Canales is a great friend of mine. I've known Mike for a very, very long period of time. Have admired him as a play caller, as a quarterback coach, as an offensive coordinator. And he's done a great job in a difficult situation. And you can see their offense now starting to take on his personality. The quarterback, DeMarcus Smith, is an individual who can make plays with his legs. He can throw the football. I think they're gaining confidence offensively. Defensively, very good team speed. But really, this is about every individual in our football program taking accountability for their self-determination this week and getting better as a football team and a football program. It starts with us as a coaching staff. It starts with everyone. But like I told you Saturday evening, it was a very, very good win for us. It's very, very difficult to win. And it was a great game in moving forward for us. So I'll answer any questions you may have.
But you mentioned after the game that Dobbs was banged up. What's his status at this point, and will you have to limit him maybe a little bit in practice?
He was banged up a little bit, but gutted through it, but nothing that he hasn't been doing all year. He'll be fine for the game. He'll practice today. But, you know, Josh Dobbs is a very tough-minded individual. You know, you guys had asked some of the things, and rightfully so, with the run game and the consistency, and we were behind the sticks way too much. You know, they move the front a lot, and it's a game of inches. It may just be 3 inches of where your hand placement is, or, you know, we call it crossing the T, getting our head across the bow of the body. You know, it may be sometimes Josh keeping the ball on his read. So that's where it gets back to that 1 out of 11, that 1/11th of everyone executing and doing their jobs.
2 questions, sort of following up to Jimmy's there, Coach. How important then is it that you once again try to get Quentin some meaningful snaps and maybe within the time frame that allows him to operate the full offense?
Well, we would like to. You know, that's our plan, but that's our plan every week. And, you know, this game is a very, very big game for us because it's the next game, and that's not coach speak. It's hard to win in college football. You know, I'm listening to College Game Day, and there was one football game in particular where a team had a 0% chance of winning, and Kirk Herbstreit called it. He said that team will win or it'll be a close game because they have 0% chance winning. Now's your opportunity to pick this team, and they wouldn't pick it, and that team won. And that's what makes college football. It's a week-to-week season, and we have to get ready to play our best game. But Quentin continues to grow and develop and mature. Obviously, you learn through game live repetitions and your repetitions in practice. And, you know, we would like for him to gain some of those repetitions, but we'll see how the game goes. But we do have faith and we do have confidence in him because we see the progress.
And then not trying to get you to look past North Texas, but the Missouri game would be the first home game for Missouri since all the protests and everything going on out there. Have you or anyone from UT had any discussions with Missouri or SEC officials?
Yeah, absolutely not. All our focus is on North Texas and looking to be a better football team and play our best game and moving forward. So I'll be honest with you, I don't even really know to the extent of what's going on. I've been so focused on Tennessee football. So all our focus is on the next opponent like it is every week.
You talk about wanting to have 60 minutes of focus. What's been y'all been really good in the first half this season. What do you think's been the key to the fast starts y'all have had and also, is there any update regarding the JIP with the MRI? No,
we'll know a little bit more probably here today. I'll be able to let you know a little bit more on Wednesday of how he's progressing and how that's moving forward with Kurt. In terms of the fast starts, I think sometimes special teams, I think field position, we've really aided and been benefited by that. You know, we've done a good job of starting the second half, particularly when we get the ball. But I didn't think we lacked, that intensity. And it's teaching a young football team the maturity of playing home. The distractions are so much different from a road game versus a home game, from the amount of people around. And we're going to close it down a little bit. We're going to take more of an approach of the locker room and create more tight-knit in terms of restrictions in our locker room and different things that way, because when you're a young football team, you really struggle at times with focus. And when you're on the road, you don't have a lot of distractions. And it's an honor and a privilege to play in Neyland Stadium, but I just didn't think, we had the overall focus for 60 minutes like we've had the last couple weeks.
Coach, on the first drive, Alvin Kamara had 3 touches for 47 yards, I think, and a touchdown, and then he only touched the ball 4 more times the rest of the game. Was that something South Carolina was doing to take him away, or was that just part of the game plan? Or
it was a combination, and Alvin's been banged up a little bit too, so we have to pick our spots with him. But it's a combination of them taking some things away, a combination of our reads. We understand he's one of our playmakers, and when we get his hands on the football, he has the ability to make plays.
And you'd mentioned, the Neyland focus, tightening things up in the locker room. And after the game, Dobbs had said that he felt like it wasn't anything South Carolina was doing, but just the team just let their foot off the pedal. Is that part of why you're wanting to tighten things up in the locker room and make a more of an effort going forward with the focus?
Well, I just think you have to be focused for 60 minutes, and it takes a mature football team to be able to do that. And, it's like I tell our team all the time, how would you let, or why would you let maybe one play where you're not focused create momentum for the opposite team? One lack of focus on a play can generate a big play for them. Whether it's offense, defense, or special teams. And a lot of times younger players have a hard time of snap and clearing, and sometimes they get mesmerized by the situation. They stare, and their reaction time is a little bit different. I want to tighten our overall focus, our mentality with everything. And like I said, it's a lot different when you play at home, just with the amount of people that are around you, people talking to you, all those different things. So I just want to go back in terms of, some of the things you have to credit South Carolina. They did some good things on, but we didn't execute like we normally have in the last couple weeks, but that's football. The game's played by human beings. It's not played by computers. And, you're going to make mistakes. But again, if you look at the course of a long football season, nobody plays a perfect game, but when you get in games like that, you have to rely on your habits. You have to rely on your training. And I thought down the stretch, our team relied on their habits and their training. And, that play Malik Foreman made was remarkable. When you really watch it on video, the pin and the punch, and that's something that we worked so hard on in our Maxim 1 periods. And I credit him because he did a tremendous job at that. Was truly a great play.
Butch, going back and watching it on replay, it seemed like players were slipping all over the field. Do you, one, think that that had a negative effect on your pass rush and the ability to get to the opposing quarterback? And two, do you think, are the conditions in Neyland Stadium, the field conditions, becoming concerning to you?
Well, it is difficult when you're slipping, and I think sometimes it creates hesitation amongst your players. But I also think it's been an unusual season in terms of grass. I'm not a grass expert or a field expert, so I think the unusual season with the ryegrass and all that goes into it. I can tell you this: we're well aware of it. We're taking every precaution. We're taking everything we can, we're doing. And we had a meeting today on it, and we'll continue to work to have the best playing surface in the country. But we were slipping, but, there's been a lot of places around the country that's been like that, but we're well aware of it. And, we are working to get it corrected as much and the best that we can at this particular time.
Obviously, the injury status update question, you knew it was coming from me.
I was just testing you this time.
Of course. Yeah, just keeping me on my toes. So I guess Kendrick, Robertson, Wiseman, Preston Williams, Marquez North, Stephen Griffin, where are those guys?
We anticipate all the individuals that you just mentioned to be out at practice today. We anticipate all of them to be practicing come Tuesday. They're making progress. We'll see. With Brett Kendrick, he's worked very, very hard. Jayshon has, they all have. Marquez North, it's just a muscular thing. And, he practices limited throughout the course of the week, and then we see how he's at game time. I know he wants to be out there. They all do, and I give all our players credit. They really worked hard on that. But as of right now, Dustin, all should be available for Tuesday's practice. And then I'll know a little bit more on Wednesday. After Tuesdays are real hard practice to see kind of where they're at. But the plan right now with the injury report is all will be available for practice.
Butch, obviously you guys made the huge play with Malik forcing the turnover, but you haven't won the turnover battle in a football game, I think, since Western Carolina. How significant is that for you guys to win that element moving down the stretch of the season with what's left?
Very significant. The biggest determining factor is in wins and losses is turnover margin. And we need to start taking the ball away much more on defense. And, we call it ball disruptions. And, again, it's not so much just creating turnovers, it's tip footballs. We still haven't had, I believe we had one, which was good to see, but we need more tip footballs. Tip footballs usually lead to interceptions. That's a byproduct of that, being able to impact the quarterback. I think we're doing a much better job of impacting the quarterback, but in terms of creating turnovers, creating fumbles, we need to continue to do that. And sometimes they come in circles. It comes full circle, and I'm hoping that, you go in now, you have some validity behind the pin and punch and everything with Malik Foreman. And that's why you pursue to the football. What can I say about Jalen Reeves-Maben? I thought his play on our punt was one of the best individual plays we've had all year. He beat his man at the line of scrimmage. He was probably 10 yards ahead of everyone down the field, forced put the ball on the ground, and that was a big play because then we gained the 10 yards with the penalty as well. And then offensively, taking care of the football. And, the one, gave them 7 points. And as you guys know, you're at practice, we emphasize that. That's a big part of our DNA and what we stand for. But we do need to get up on the turnover margin. Yes, absolutely.
Patrick, then Steve, and then one more. I got a couple. Did you say anything to Brian Randolph after his targeting? I know you got a few targeting questions last week about that one, but with Mosley. But did you say anything to Brian after that?
No, not really. I mean, he's a veteran player. He understands and felt awful about it, felt terrible, and he knew as soon as it happened, he knew what was coming next. So you don't need to. We'll make it a point of contention. It'll be a point of emphasis today in the team meeting, again, which we do every week. But he felt bad about it and just trying to be physical and get to the football. And, sometimes it does create hesitancy, but I didn't need to say anything. He understood. I'll address it today with the team.
And kind of going off the turnover question, it looked like Cam maybe thought he had one with that fumble late. There's been a couple times this season where there's been that forward progress question where I guess it's not reviewable and they blow the whistle quick while guys wrapped up and it gets ripped out. Would you like to see that rule maybe addressed? I know it's happened in a couple games for you guys this year.
Well, it's definitely a judgment call. And, you know, a lot of times is where they deem forward progress was stopped. And, you know, there was a couple times where, you know, the whistle wasn't blown, and rightfully so, and their running back was on top of a defender and he wasn't down. So the thing you don't want to do is ever lose your aggressiveness in tackling or swarming to the football. But it is a judgment call, and it's very, very difficult. I think it was the right call. Unfortunately, it's a game of inches. But when you look, the official had blown the whistle. You know, it was bang, bang. You could see the arms go up and then the ball come out. So it's a judgment call, but I know it's a challenging judgment call, but I think they made the right decision.
Just if you could clarify in terms of the locker room, it's just like pregame access to like friends, family, people outside the program pretty much?
Yeah, just a lot of things. You know, it's teaching our injured players, you know, about the focus that needs to be in that locker room. You know, when we go on the road, we have a travel roster. We have a limited travel roster. So it's the individuals respecting the players who are playing and them understanding that, you know, they have to make sure that the players who are playing are focused. It's more so that, not, you know, you look at everything. It's not just the visitors or things like that. We do a good job of monitoring that. It's just the overall home focus of, you know, you pretty much dress everyone for a home game. And so there's a little bit difference in terms of the locker room. And, you know, everywhere I've been, we've kind of really made it a small group, and we've educated them, and we'll continue to educate them, especially our players that aren't playing, is, hey, you need to respect your teammate. And it's a time for them to get locked in and focused and have that great mental effort and mental intensity that it takes. So it's just a combination of a lot of little things. And it's difficult, too, because you have recruiting. You know, you have recruits coming in and out, and rightfully so. You know, you want them to see that. So there's a lot that goes into, and every home team faces that same set of circumstances and challenges. We're no different. I've talked to 10 head coaches this morning, and we joke about it because our concerns are exactly their concerns. And you just, you know, you want your players to have the best focus that they can possibly have.
Anybody else? One last one? Okay, thank you. We'll have Cameron Sutton and Joshua Dobbs in a few minutes.
Again, appreciate you. Have a great day.